and welcome. In this video I'd like to share with you a short yoga sequence that is great for promoting better sleep and helping you to get a good night's rest. So we're going to begin by coming onto the hands and knees. So shift yourself there. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips, spreading the fingers wide, and we'll come into cat and cow. As we inhale, we lower the back, we lift the chin and chest and gaze upwards. As we exhale, we push the floor away, coming into cat. We repeat slowly with the breath. So with this whole sequence, we're aiming to take very slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. I'll do this one more time. Fantastic. And then I'll just come to a flat back position. From here, I'm going to tuck the toes under, gently lift the knees and come up into downward facing dog. But rather than holding here static, I'm going to walk the feet in place. So I'm stretching out through the hamstrings, I'm pushing the floor away. This can be really good for getting rid of unwanted energy, so we're winding down before bed, and also for just stretching out those hamstrings. They can get pretty tight. From here, I lower the knees back down. I'm going to come down into child's pose or balasana. Sitting the hips back, just separating the knees nice and wide. I can pad my hands forwards, either resting forehead on the forearms or coming all the way down to the ground. And with this pose, I would recommend staying here for at least 5 or 6 breaths, really releasing down into it. You really want to take your time with this sequence. Fantastic. So we're now going to move onto our backs to do a spinal twist. So I'm going to begin by laying down on my side. So this position can be done in pregnancy as well. And I want to have my hips stacked and my knees stacked and my ankles stacked. So I'm laying on my left with my left arm out at shoulder height. I'm just going to very gently let this right arm come out behind me. Fantastic. You can either let the arm completely extend or just bring the fingertips to the shoulders and let the elbow come down towards the floor. The head can turn to the opposite direction. So we're stretching and opening the chest, getting a really good opening of the upper back. And again, breathe here slowly and deeply for 5 to 6 breaths. When you're ready, I would roll over to the other side. So I'll do this in the other direction so you can see. Again, stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the ankles, right arm extended out, and this arm either coming all the way open so the arm comes to the floor, or keeping that hand just on the shoulder there. Good. And again, you're really releasing into the ground and letting go with this pose. Fantastic. When we're ready, we'll come slowly out of this, and whenever we shift from position to position, we move carefully, slowly, so there's no rush with anything that we do. I'm just going to grab a yoga brick here. Now you may not have a block or a brick at home, but you can use either a rolled up towel or maybe a book, something solid that we can have to hand. I'm going to lay down on my back, but I'll just make one note here. If you are pregnant and perhaps you're after sort of 20 weeks in your pregnancy, you may wish to support yourself using lots of cushions or pillows so you're not lying directly on your back. So I'm going to lay down on my back, the feet hip width apart, toes pointing forwards, and just starting with the arms at the side of my body. I'm going to take this little brick, this little block, lift the hips up and just place this at the sacrum, so that's the very base of the spine, and sit down. We don't want this in the arch of the back, we want the hips, the pelvis to be resting on this. And then really relax the pelvis, bring the hands down to the side. And here you can close the eyes as well. And I'd stay here for at least 5 or 6 breaths. Or if you're enjoying it like I do, you can stay here for perhaps a minute or 2. Really enjoy this pose. So once we've finished this, we'll remove the brick out from underneath us, and I'm just going to come back up to seated. Now you may wish to stay laying down for this next part, which is a breathing exercise, but I'll come up to seated just so that you can see. I'm going to bring the hands to the belly. The spine is long, and I'm going to close my eyes. You'll be doing this laying down. I'm going to take a deep inhale and push the belly into the hands. And as I exhale, the belly comes back in. And repeat this several times, inhaling through the nose, expanding the belly, and exhale, it comes back in. I then move the fingertips up to the ribs. I'm just touching the floating ribs here at the side. Again, elbows nice and relaxed. Now I breathe to this area. Inhaling, expanding the rib cage, exhaling, and releasing. Repeating again several times, your focus, your intention, all here on the rib cage, expanding and contracting as you breathe. Finally, I'll move the fingertips up to the collarbones, breathing into this upper part of the lungs, inhaling, exhaling. Deep but soft. One more time with me. Fantastic. I'm now going to bring the hands back down to the belly and join these three parts up into a single wave of breath. We inhale, expand the belly, then the ribs, then the collarbones, and as we exhale through the nose, release the collarbones, the ribs, the belly. And keep doing this wave, inhaling belly, ribs, collarbones, and back down, collarbones, ribs, belly. And stay with this breath for at least 5 to 6 more rounds. A really calming breath. Fantastic. So we'll move on from there. What I'd like to do now is show you a bound ankle pose or reclined goddess pose. I'm going to bring a couple of yoga bricks back, and you may want to use towels instead if you can. I'm going to lay down on my back, and I'm going to let the soles of the feet come together and the knees just drop out to the side. So these bricks are just supporting the knees so that there's not too much of a deep strain in the hips, but I'm getting a supported stretch. The hands can rest onto the belly, the spine relaxed, so you're just releasing into this pose. Take deep, slow breaths and hold here for at least 5 to 6 breaths, or as long as you wish to. So we're really starting to calm the body and the nervous system down, whilst getting a lovely stretch here for the groin and the inner thighs. When I'm ready, I will slowly move, bringing the legs back up together. And I'm going to pop these bricks out of the way. Now for the next pose, you may want to use a wall to prop your legs up, or you can put your legs up onto a sofa, or I'm going to demonstrate this with a chair. I'm going to bring a chair onto my yoga mat. I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to lay down sideways with my bottom quite close to the chair. And then I'm going to shift onto my back and put my legs or my shins just up onto the chair. Again, if you are pregnant and doing this pose, you may not want to be completely on your back. You might want to prop yourself up with pillows. And again, here we want these thigh bones to be completely vertical. You want to allow the shins to be completely horizontal. But the main thing you want to do is to be able to relax. Again, hands resting onto the belly, closing the eyes and taking slow, easy breaths. Just enjoying this restful position with the legs up and relaxed. And finally, after coming out of this pose, we're going to move the chair out of the way and come down to lie on our back in a position in yoga we call Shavasana. Let me just quickly move this chair out of the way, pop it back. And Shavasana is essentially laying on your back. It's translated as corpse pose. So we're lying as still as a corpse, and this is really getting us ready for sleep. The feet slightly separated, flopping to the sides, hands at the sides of the body, palms facing upwards, just wriggling around a bit until you're completely comfortable, and then really let go. When you lay here, tune into the breath. Notice the inhale, and with every exhale, you're melting those muscles. You're releasing into the ground and giving yourself complete permission to rest and relax. And from this position, I would probably stay here for a good minute or two, or you might find you even drop off to sleep. Thank you very much. Namaste, and I hope you enjoy this sequence.